All right. Hello, ladies. I'm using the back camera on my phone today because my computer webcam does not want to work. So just pulling up on the computer so that I can see any questions that you have. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. My name is Tiffany Toombs, and today I want to talk about the 3 universal fears that stop all of us from truly living in our power, our potential, and from living our purpose. So if you are joining me for this live, please make sure that you use the hashtag live in the comments. And if you're watching the replay, use the hashtag replay. If you have any questions, I want you to know there's a little bit of a delay from my end where I'm talking about things and you seeing it. So as I go through, if you have any questions, please pop them in the comments as soon as you think of them. That way I can answer them while we're live. And if you do happen to watch the replay, I'll come back and check for any questions after I finish up. I'd also love to know where you are tuning in from. So pop that in the comments as well. Let me know where you're watching from, and let's get into it. So there are 3 universal fears that we each need to overcome in order to truly live within our purpose. And I like to think of life like a video game, right? We have to pass certain levels in order to go to the next level. And so today we're going to talk about what are those 3 universal fears you need to overcome. So the first one, the first universal fear is the fear of not belonging, or the fear of not being loved. Now, each of these fears has a different way that they show up, a different way that our behavior and the patterns of behavior and the habits that we adopt come into play. And so when we have a belief or a fear of not belonging, we become the rescuers, right? So who here, who watching this is a rescuer or a martyr? If you're a mom, there's a good chance that this is you, because moms are really great at putting everybody else first and putting themselves last, right? So the rescuer, they don't look after themselves. Self-love is the last priority, the bottom of the rung on their priority sheet, and they want to make sure that everybody else is happy, right? You plan to go to the gym at 9 a.m. and then a kid or a friend or somebody calls you and says, I really need help today, and all of a sudden you drop your plans to help them out. Or you get a call from a prospect or a potential client and they say, look, I really want to work with you. I know that you're going to help me change my life. I can't afford to pay you. And so you decide to just work with them for free and give them all of this free stuff, giving them all of this time and energy, even though it's sucking away from your paying clients, so that you can make sure that you help them, right? That's the rescuer. And the ultimate belief of the rescuer is that the only way that we can be loved is by making sure that everybody else is happy. So we ultimately here, we become the people pleasers. Oops, can't spell today. We become people pleasers. So then we don't set boundaries. And what we do is we bend our feelings, we bend our boundaries, we bend our emotions to make sure that everybody else is happy, to make sure that everybody else feels good, right? We can't say no to helping a friend move on the weekend even though we're exhausted. We can't say no to helping a friend look after their children or to helping a client do whatever it is that they need, regardless of how we feel, because then they may feel rejected. And because we have a belief that we are not lovable, that's the ultimate belief here is, I am not lovable. We project that onto other people. And we don't want other people to feel like they're not lovable. So we don't set boundaries. So if this is you, if you're like, girl, you are telling me the story of my life, pop me in the comments so that I know. So what we need here, what the people pleasers need, is the human needs of love and connection. We need to find our tribe. We need to find the people who are in our lives that we can say no to. That's why this community, there's like 300,000 women in this community. That's why this community is so powerful. And I recommend and encourage you to reach out and connect with as many of the women in here as you possibly can, because these are the women who get it. These are the women who understand what it's like to be building a business, to be hustling to get that life that you want, to share your passion, your message, your gift with the world, while also juggling family and husband and kids and friends and extracurricular and all of that. So connect with the women in here, because that's going to help you let go of these beliefs, ultimately. The second fear is that we're not worthy, or we're not good enough. And so this fear causes us to become a perpetrator or an aggressor. So these people are the ones who are always angry. They're always angry. They lash out at other people. They have walls up so that nobody can come in and prove to them that they're not worthy. So anger is the predominant emotion that drives these people, and they ultimately don't have something to be angry about. However, they don't know any other way, right? The belief here is that I am not good enough. I am not good enough. So what happens here is they destroy friendships over a small misunderstanding, because that they believe that everything that's happening, any mistakes, anybody criticizing them, or any haters, anybody wanting to help them and coach them and give them feedback, is all of a sudden attacking them and proving that they're not worthy, proving this belief of I'm not good enough, and so they lash out. So what happens here is we become perfectionists. We can't take action on anything because it has to be perfect. We don't put anything out into the world. We wouldn't do a live video if our hair is not perfectly in place or our makeup's not done. We wouldn't put out an ebook or a course or anything until we've gone through it a million times, and every time we go through it we find something else that could be better, or that we deem not good enough. So how many people watching this are the perfectionists? How many people have this not worthy, not good enough belief? Because what you need to do here is you need some self-love. So for anybody and the human need here is for significance. So there's 2 tasks I'm going to give you for this one. So over here, if you were the people pleaser, and by the way, it's totally possible to have 2 or even all 3 of these beliefs. So if you were here, your homework for today is to connect with women in this group. Reach out, friend request them, send them a direct message, get to know them. When I was building my business, the people who had my back the most were people on social media I had never met in real life. But when my friends or my family were like, here we go again, what are you doing? Are you sure about that? This isn't gonna work. Those were the people that I reached out to. If you're on this side of the fears, then what I want you to do is 2 things. Firstly, I want you to reach out to any clients that you have now or in the past, anybody that you've helped, even if you gave them your services or your product for free, and ask them for a testimonial. Take a screenshot of that testimonial and save it somewhere in your phone that you can come back to anytime you're feeling like you're not good enough or you're not significant, because that is going to remind you of all the times that you did make a difference in somebody's life. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to make a self-love list. The things that you love about yourself. These can be internal traits or external traits. Now I know there's gonna be a cheater somewhere here, so I'm just gonna say, you cannot say, I love that I have such amazing friends and family. I love that my kids are so well behaved. No, 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 no. It has to be about you. I don't care. Here's one thing when I was going through this journey that I put on my list. My ring fingernail, I think is like perfect. So I put that down, okay? I love my eyes. I love my smile. I love my legs. I also love my ability to take in information, vast amounts of information. I love that I'm a fast learner. I love that I have a visual, a photographic memory. Okay, so I want this list to be about you, and you want to take it one step further, share at least 5 of those traits in the comments here so other people can be inspired by your self-love. All right, so that is the second. So we have 1, 2, and now number 3. The third fear is that I'm not safe. I'm not safe. And this, by the way, is where money sits. So our preoccupation here becomes survival and death. How can I survive when I leave my corporate job and jump into my business? How do I know that people are going to pay me, right? And so here we become the victim of our circumstances. Oh, but you don't know what I've been through. I always have bills that randomly pop up. This happened, this happened. You haven't walked a mile in my shoes. Ladies, I want to tell you, and I'll share this story in another week. I want you to know that I am a firm believer that every single challenge that we've had in our life, our soul chose before we got here. So for me, I believe that my soul chose a life where I was abused by my stepmom growing up, where I was cheated on by multiple men, that I was in a relationship, that one of those moments of infidelity led me to have a miscarriage, okay? So I want you to know that I am grateful for all of those experiences because it has given me the tools, the strength, and the resilience to then help other people around the world change their lives. So we don't have to be a victim to our circumstances anymore. And when we stay here in this place of fearing that we're not safe, that we're not going to survive, we become the critic, where all of a sudden we become like a keyboard warrior or the quote-unquote Karen, right? No offense to any Karens. I have lots of friends who are Karens and I love them, but if we look at the pop culture term Karens, right? They're lashing out and they're attacking everybody else because they don't personally feel safe. We're seeing a lot of this going on in the world right now. People lashing out and attacking each other for their beliefs over masks or reopening the country and whatnot. Okay, so we become critical of everybody, and one of the two, we become a control freak. So now we can't delegate anything in our business because nobody can do as good of a job as we can. There's only one way to do things, and that's my way, right? And so all of a sudden we end up with all these things on our plate. We're juggling all these balls. Of course you're going to drop balls, which then you're going to validate that belief that you're not safe. So we have to let go of this. And so what we need here is we need safety. This is the human need of safety. We need to know that no matter what happens, we can survive. Now, how many people feel like they are all 3, or they have 2? What? How many of you feel like you have at least 2, maybe all 3, or maybe you float around. Sometimes you're here, sometimes you're here, sometimes you're here. Because the crazy thing is we also get behaviors that happen when we start to combine these fears. So when we combine this fear of not belonging with a fear of not being safe, we get codependency. Oh, I lose the ability to spell sometimes on live video. We get codependency. So all of a sudden we're staying in a relationship because we fear that nobody else would ever love us, right? I've had clients come to me and they're like, but I'm like in my 40s or I'm in my 50s. No one's gonna wanna date me now. Yeah, people start over all the time and that's okay. Or you stay in a relationship because all of a sudden you don't think you can financially survive without that person. And so you stay. When we combine the fear of not being worthy with the fear of not being safe, we get competition. So all of a sudden, the only way that we can be good enough is if we're putting other people down. Sisters, We need to be building each other up. We have enough of an uphill journey as women that we do not need to be ripping each other down. Tearing somebody else down does not make my light shine brighter. In fact, it dims my light, and the world is starting to wake up to this. It doesn't make you safer or more worthy to put somebody else down. It's just airing your dirty laundry to the world. When we combine the fears of not belonging with the fears of not being worthy, we get paralysis. All of a sudden, we're stuck in confusion. Paralysis by analysis, because we have to make everybody happy, but we also have to be perfect, so we're never taking action, because you can't be perfect and please everybody at the same time. Perfection is subjective. We could there's 101 of us, 102 if you include me on this video right now, so we could all go and watch a movie and 51 people love it and 51 people hate it. Nobody's wrong, because we perceive the world based on our belief systems, our emotions, and our memories. And so it doesn't make anybody wrong or right when they like or don't like something, when they see something that's perfect or don't. Okay? So I want to tell you what happens when you start leaving all this behind. Who's ready for that? Who is ready to know what we do here? I didn't give you homework if you were the victim, so I just want to touch on that before we go to the next thing. So if you are the victim, here's what I want you to do. I want you to learn how to start receiving. So how many of you, and I want you to put your honest answer in the comments, how many of you, if somebody was to randomly buy you a small present, a gift, a coffee, lunch, or to give you a compliment, oh, I love your hair, I love that dress, right? How many of you block it in some way by saying, oh, yeah, I just washed my hair today. Oh, it was like $5, right? Or no, you don't have to buy me lunch. Okay, I'll buy next time, or I'll buy dessert, right? What we do, there's a concept called the psychology of receiving. When we block small gifts and compliments from coming to us by having to give something back right away instead of genuinely receiving it and saying, thank you, thank you. What we do is we program our unconscious mind that it's not safe to receive. And if it's not safe to receive a coffee, lunch, or a compliment, it's definitely not going to be safe to receive 5 figures or more from clients, or to receive the love that you're looking for in your life. So if you found yourself here with this fear of not being safe, then what I want you to do is I want you to start just saying thank you. When somebody compliments you, when somebody wants to buy you something, just say thank you. Okay? All right. So let's look at the next part. So what we need to do to overcome this bottom triangle of being in the shadow is we need to get in touch with our emotions. We need to be able to hear them. We also need to be able to hear our mind, so our logic and our intellect. So for your emotions, I recommend meditation. Meditate doesn't have to be like a sit and meditate. It can be a walking meditation where you just go for a walk and you listen to the sounds around you. You pay attention to how you're feeling in your body. If you feel a pain, let's say you're going for a walk and you feel a pain in your knee, just ask yourself, what is this pain? And start to listen. In terms of the mind, I recommend journaling. Ask yourself a question and write whatever words are in your mind. That way you can hear it. You can hear the intellect and the intuition. You can hear both sides of the coin. Because when we combine these, what that allows us to do is first become the observer of our life. So now we're no longer caught in a drama cycle of aggressor, rescuer, victim. Now we're being the observer. We can see that certain people in our life will always be the aggressor, and they'll put us in the victim position. We can see that other people are always going to be the victim and want us to rescue them. We can see that we have a choice to not fall into those old patterns. Just because that's what they want from us doesn't mean that's how we have to show up and act. once we become the observer, we can then decide to become the creator of our life, where we then show up in the ways that we want to. We do the things that we love. Because here's the thing, when we combine our emotions from a position of power, purpose, and potential, what we get is compassion. Now all of a sudden, we can see what people need without jumping in the hole with them and putting ourselves in a bad place. We can help somebody from an empowered place where instead of creating codependency, where they always need to come to you, they become empowered to become the creator of their own life. When we combine the mind with the creator, we get collaboration. Hey, let's take the best of you and combine it with the best of me and become even better for the people out there who want to hear and who need to hear our message. And then when we combine the emotions and the mind, we get creativity. Now we can create things that the world has never seen before and take things to a whole new level. So those are, I see there's a whole lot of stuff going on in the comments. So that is the talk for today. If you have any comments or questions, put them in the comments. This is going to be on replay, so this talk will stay in here. You can search my name for it, and this talk, the talk I did last week, any posts that I put in here, you'll be able to find. You're always going to have angry customers, Billie Jean, so what happens for the survive, what happens if customers are angry? So angry customers are a chance for you to learn, is how I look at it. So is there any valid points in what they're telling me? Is there any changes that I need to make in my business? I actually go out and seek feedback from my clients on a regular basis. I just sent out a Google form to my top level clients yesterday to get some feedback for them. So before I make any changes in my business, I always ask, what do you want to see more of? What don't you like? You know, what do you really appreciate? What don't you appreciate? And then also understand that I don't know what's going on in that person's life, so I don't have to internalize and make everything personal. Even if they're making personal comments about me, I have a choice to not internalize it and make it my identity. All right, let's see if there's any other questions. All right. Okay, so it doesn't look like there is any other question. Oh, there was one. So when you, how to bring on the compassion, when you really get in touch with your emotions, so you know what you need, and you decide to show up in your light, in your power, all of a sudden you don't need to rescue people anymore. So I want to just quickly share the difference between rescuing and empathy and compassion. So if I see somebody in a hole, right, and like I'm going to talk about a physical hole, but you know, it's a metaphor, right? So I see somebody in a hole. If I'm a rescuer, I jump into that hole with them, I put them on my shoulders, boost them out. Now I'm stuck in the hole and they've run off and they're doing whatever they want with their life, right? So they can't pay their phone bill or their house bill or their car bill or whatever, so I lend them money and now all of a sudden I'm in a financially tight spot. They're not going to come back and save me because victims look for people to rescue them. They don't come back and help. That's not how they think, right? So now I'm just in the hole and I have to figure out a way to get out myself. The other side of it, compassion and empathy, is I see somebody in a hole and I say, okay, I'm going to give you some tools. Here's a rope. Here's a ladder. You have to do the work to climb out though, right? I can give you tools. I can teach you this kind of stuff. I can teach you about journaling and meditation. I can give you a guided meditation. I can't make you do it. I can teach you about the tools of NLP and mindset and reprogramming yourself. You have to use them though, okay? And so that's the difference between being a rescuer and finding compassion and empathy, is that you don't jump in the hole with somebody. You don't put yourself in a position where you are now behind or where you're in a tight, stressful spot to save somebody else. Alrighty. Looks like that is how do you deal with shame and blame from other people. Vicky, I choose to recognize that everybody else, there's a concept called perception is projection. And so basically it means our external world is a reflection of our internal world. Now you have to kind of ask yourself, who is the shame and blame coming from, right? Is it coming from a narcissist or a sociopath personality? If so, then they may be using that behavior, that shame and blame, to control me. If it's coming from somebody who's hurt, I can choose not to take on their emotions as my identity, and I can ask myself, what changes do I need to make based on the feedback that I've received? Okay. Alrighty, well, that is it for me, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any other questions, if you're watching the replay, pop them in the comments. If you want to connect with me, I think I'm close to 5,000 followers this weekend. I'm doing a bit of a clean out, but shoot me a DM, and as soon as I do the clean out, then I can send you a friend request. Connect with me, and I will pop the link to my calendar in the comments if you want to book a free session with me, right? So it's totally free, zero obligation. You want to clear out one of those beliefs, one of those fears, this is what I specialize in, getting rid of that emotional baggage. So I will put my link in the comments for you, and feel free to book that. Have an amazing weekend, and I can't wait to talk to you all soon. Bye.